Welcome to Jenkins and Jonez on the Volume Podcast Network. It's Thursday, July 29th, and we've got a great show for you. A lot of great stuff to talk about, new segments to talk about. Very excited for you guys to get to hear that. As always, Jenkins and Jonez is hosted by my good friends at any time of day, including very early in the morning, with Jethro Jenkins, a.k.a. John.
What's up, Bubbas?
Dragonfly Jones, a.k.a. Tyler.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
I'm Gardy B, a.k.a. Mike. I'm so tired, I just almost said Tyler's whole name.
Put the government out there, boy.
No can do. No can do.
No can do.
No can do, nigga.
Heavy finger on the edit button this morning. Obviously, a ton to talk about with the Olympics. Can't start anywhere other than Simone Biles. Very emotional day for Simone Biles and anyone who's a Simone Biles fan, which I think basically everyone in America is. She withdrew yesterday from the team all-around final. If I actually watched the competition, even after hearing that she withdrew, you could see very clearly that she was not herself. She was really struggling. She was struggling to locate, up and down, which in gymnastics is a really obviously critical thing because you can get very seriously hurt if you're not coming out of your jumps the right way. And she said, coming off the mat, she said, I don't trust myself right now. So withdrew. Later said that it was because of her mental health and not because of a physical injury. I think that's been misconstrued a little bit because it's very obvious if you actually watch the performance that it's not, when she says mental health, she means something mentally is affecting her to where it's a physical problem. It's not just obviously a lot of trolls are making it out like she just like Simone Biles of all fucking people was afraid of the pressure or something, which is ludicrous. But huge story. She's already said she's out of the individual all around as well. I think she still could compete in her individual events if she chooses to do so. But what was your guys' reaction to her pulling out of that competition and to, some of the kind of conversation and dialogue around that?
Okay, so my first thoughts, when I woke up and saw the Simone news was, good for her. Take care of yourself. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. My second thought was, Simone, do not get on the fucking internet today. This backlash that she received, it wasn't surprising. We knew it was coming and we knew who it would be largely coming from, right? The fucking All Lives Matter crowd who whines about, I can't wear a mask to Starbucks. This is a travesty. We're all of a sudden going to preach to us about grit and toughness and seeing it through, right? The crowd who doesn't give a single solitary fuck about their fellow man, we're now going to get on their shitty little soapboxes and expound to us about the virtues of sacrificing for the greater good of those next to you. Like, give me a fucking break. And of course, that crowd didn't disappoint. They're constantly horrible, and they consistently rise to the occasion when it's time to be shitty fucking human beings, especially when it's time to be a shitty fucking human being at the expense of a black person. But those fucking people don't matter. Fuck them. I think the larger point here is I think we're seeing a shift, especially in the world of athletics, the hyper competitive, super stressful world of sports. We're seeing more and more athletes from Kevin Love to DeMar DeRozan to Chris Long to Naomi to Simone now just being open and candid about where they are mentally, about their mental health. Athletes basically saying, we endure a lot, we're human. Sometimes this shit is too much. And I think anytime there's a shift like that, of course you're going to get pushback. That's to be expected. But we expected the pushback to come Simone's way, and it did. But I applaud Simone. Take care of yourself first and foremost. I wasn't locked in on these Olympics like, yeah, can't wait to see what Simone does for the good old USA. I don't give a fuck about that, right? All this piling on her about, she's letting her team down. Like, motherfucker, can you even name one of her teammates? Everybody became a fucking gymnastics enthusiast when this news dropped. Like, give me a fucking break. I was just here to see what Simone was going to do for Simone in these Olympics. And if Simone says she ain't got it right now, then great, good for her. Take care of yourself first and foremost above all else.
I thought it was so brave because she could have doctored up that message and said my ankle or some bullshit, you know what I mean? But she said exactly what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? So anybody just saying like, she's not the GOAT doesn't quit the team. First of all, fuck you, bitch. What the fuck you know about being a motherfucking GOAT, nigga? You know what I mean? Go fucking serve burgers, nigga. Fuck you mean talking about GOAT, bitch? You don't know shit about that. Neither do I. If I'm keeping a motherfucking stack, neither of us do. But I mean, somebody being that brave in that moment, saying that in front of the fucking world, that's GOAT shit to me. You know what I mean? So she just further, stamped herself in my eyes. Especially somebody that struggles with fucking anxiety, that was driving home from the fucking golf course yesterday, bugged out and had to call my wife to just be on the phone. You know what I mean? I can, you know what I'm saying? Like little motherfuckers, regular motherfuckers like me can relate to something that's a GOAT is fucking doing. I think it's incredible that she fucking did that shit.
It's easier to relate to someone struggling with their mental health than it is to someone who's the best of all time or something.
Right. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Is definitely, that's a takeaway for me. But you made a great point about the easier road for her would have been just when she came off the mat, when she had done her jump and clearly, had trouble locating and came down and took the big step. But she could have just done what, quite frankly, every cornerback who's ever been beat in the history of football has done and limped off the mat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right,
grabbed at her ankle like, oh shit. Like
the real reason special, yeah.
I wonder, it makes me wonder how many athletes have done that, have had anxiety and knew they'd be called crazy, wouldn't get the support, nobody understood it. You know what I'm saying? And they said something else so they didn't have to deal with the backlash Simone did. You know what I mean?
Either in the locker room or, you know what I mean? Or from outside. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we might have seen it these last finals with Giannis, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to speculate, but, that Tinkle answer he gave us, he was bullshitting us and he knew he was bullshitting us. But if he doesn't want to share that with us, that's solely his prerogative too. So
I thought, and I'm a couple other thoughts from me, because one of the things that's fun about the Olympics to me is everyone becomes an everything expert once every 4 years. You know what I mean? I was a fucking canoe whitewater rafting expert for about 8 minutes last night. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look at her body lean. Like, this is incredible. but I would say like the comparisons people have made to other sports is it doesn't make sense. First of all, gymnastics is, and we covered Michaela Maroney was from Long Beach, who was a vaulter at the London Olympics, who went viral off of making the stink face she did. She was explaining to us, she's like, the thing that's insane about gymnastics is you're in the air for like 2 seconds. Like that's it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's no like what Simone Biles did, like say Giannis did just need a second to come out and take a couple of deep breaths and go back in. That's the whole event in gymnastics. It isn't like you can pass the ball to the other person, sub out and come back in. Like it is one of the most pressure packed things you can do because of how much action is compacted into such a tight like span of time. The other thing is it's like 6 people in the world ever who can relate to the world she was looking at going into this Olympics. And I don't know if you saw what Michael Phelps said on NBC afterwards, but they had I thought Mike Tirico, who is not programmed to have these conversations.
It's 100% pure-blooded Italian Mike Tirico. That's my take.
That. Just one of the guys.
Basically a Garbaschio.
They were smart enough on the NBC primetime broadcast to have him sit down with Michael Phelps, who's someone who has talked openly about his mental health struggles and who was like one of the leading it's okay to not be okay people throughout the pandemic, to just say like, you were one of these people that NBC put every spotlight on the planet on. What is this like being the face of an Olympics that 1 billion people are watching? And I thought he did a great job of explaining, he said exactly what John, he said, like, I was proud of her that she was able to do that she felt strong enough to do that, knowing what was kind of going to be coming her way. But that's some of the context I just think I haven't necessarily seen in the conversation, is like, you just can't compare anyone else to an Usain Bolt, a Michael Phelps, a Simone Biles, very, very few other people where literally the eyes of the world are on these people in this compact, tight period of time, not even discussing what she went through because of Larry Nassar and USA Gymnastics covering up sexual assault, like not even getting into that side of it. If you're just talking about it as a sports story, which is missing the point, that's a lot of the context that I think those people who always sink to the occasion, as you said, Tyler, that's the context they're leaving out, just because obviously it's the shortest distance they can take to the world's worst set of talking points for those people.
Absolutely. And yeah, and I want to come back to the whole point about like, you know, how the anti-mask crowd and the anti-Simone crowd are basically the same fucking circle on a Venn diagram, because I think there's like a larger point there to examine. Like the last 18 months, we have seen the fucking absolute worst of this nation. I mean, we can go back 4 years to the whole Trump fiasco, but let's just fucking whittle it down to the pandemic for the sake of this discussion. Like the utter lack of concern and empathy that this country put on display when lives of our fellow citizens were literally on the line. Literally on the line, right? Yeah. You know, there's always been this myth, this fairy tale that, yeah, America has its flaws. We're not perfect, but we'll come together for each other when we need to. And no, the fuck we won't. You've seen the last 18 months, motherfucker. And like, I think that all comes down to the fucked up ideals of like American exceptionalism that have been indoctrinated in us. And the notion that in order to excel, you have to excel at the expense of someone else. That in order for you to rise, you got to step on people on your way. The American ideal of success has always kind of been firmly rooted in how far ahead you are of someone else. And it bleeds into our sports. It distorts people's perceptions of what a quote unquote true competitor is and how we define success in the arena of sports as well. Like, okay, you're a champion. Congrats. Who did you crush to get here? You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm glad we're seeing a shift in athletes going, you know, I gave him my all. I'm satisfied with me. I don't give a fuck about what you think. And I think that's a very healthy way for athletes to, you know, approach sports and for people to approach life in general.
She said she didn't trust herself. Do you realize what the fuck she's doing in the air? There is shit that she's doing that nobody else has ever done on the fucking planet ever before. She can't be up there not trusting herself. You know what I mean? Doing what she's fucking doing. She made the best.
Literally life or death shit.
Literally life or fucking death. And you want her to just mentally fight through that? I mean, just, bro, like, I'm glad we're to the point where when people say things and are this stupid, we can just say, shut the fuck up and not pay them any attention. Because that is just so ridiculous for somebody to want her not to get off the mat if she's doing what the fuck she's doing and has no trust in herself doing it. You know what I mean? She can't do it. It'd be stupid to continue. You know what I mean?
One piece of a larger conversation that this is for a podcast on another day, but something that I wanted to bring up was I did feel like it was a polarizing piece of news because there were people who obviously had the predictable shitty response, but there was also a huge outpouring of support, a lot of which was genuine, but some of which felt performative to me. And I will point to Mike Tirico's closing statement on the broadcast last night, where he's talking about this is a moment for mental health, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm listening to this going, this did not sound like what you were saying when you were talking to Nastia Lukin, you know, an hour ago, where you kind of borderline questioning, is she stepping up for her teammates, et cetera, et cetera. And the one point I would make is I think the reason there was some of that performative support from sports media personalities is sports are not a mentally healthy thing. Like, like it grows evolutionarily out of a competitive desire to beat other people to food. You know what I mean? You know, like, and that's not the way that our society's set up anymore. And if you've ever known, I've never covered or gotten to know well an athlete on Simone Biles' level. But if you've ever gotten to know, I talked to Michaela Maroney about what it was like to become an Olympic gymnast. It's not healthy. I mean, these kids, they don't go to school. You know what I mean? Like, you're homeschooled so that you have time to do this full time with your life as a child. Like, the shelf life on an Olympic gymnast is what all of us would consider to be the start of being a person. Like, early to mid 20s is old. You know what I mean? And so that's something that I think, like, there's no framework for the Olympic broadcast to grapple with that, because these are the people we're celebrating. Like, we're celebrating that Usain Bolt, that Michael Phelps do these things, that Simone Biles does these things, but no one gets to that position, especially in an Olympic sport, without enormous isolation and being driven from an age when you should not be. Like, we've all seen the Tiger Woods origin story. That's child abuse to me. When you take your kid out there at 4 or 5 years old and you're drilling the fuck out of them, it happens to work out for a Tiger Woods, a Venus Serena Williams. But then
it
there's the
didn't work out
side
in
where
real life,
it
though.
doesn't work. It works out
there's the Ryan
professionally,
Leafs,
but
there's the
not
Todd
mentally.
Marinoviches. You know what I mean?
But with Tiger, it didn't work. Like, who the fuck wants Tiger's life? We want his money.
It worked on the golf course,
right? It didn't work in real life.
Which is where the energy was directed. You know,
and a lot of this shit, bro. Like you said, it's not healthy. It's healthy as far as exercise and all that shit, right? But the way you approach sports, you don't want to approach life the same way. We see these fucking guys talking all this shit about life. No, I don't want to approach sports and life the exact same way. It's not healthy to think that way about the people you're working with and all that. You know what I mean? Like,
imagine your doctor told you need to get in a little bit better shape, and then you described an Olympic swimmer's exercise routine.
Right, bro.
They're not telling you that's healthy.
But even exactly. But even that's a fact. That is a fact too. But also, like a gymnast, like you said, as a child, they're not 4'11" because of genetics, nigga. You know what I mean? They're 4'11" because they're doing things with their body as far as lifting and whatnot that they probably shouldn't have done. You know,
I mean, for decades, intentionally, their growth was being stunted in the. I think some of those practices have changed a little bit, but gymnastics in particular, is a brutal sport in the way that it treats its competitors. And Simone Biles is one of, but there's been a lot of Olympic gymnasts talking about that recently, and it's good that they're talking about it because that's what we should be. We should be evaluating that. Like whether that's worth doing to kids or not, you know what I mean? But I cover athletes. I'm not going to criticize parents for putting their kids in sports, but there's a big line of people who want to put their kids through that. You know what I mean? And that's worth evaluating, in my opinion.
I wonder how many greats, like the lives we would want their life as well as what their career. When you look at like the greatest of the greats, like the lives outside, you know what I mean? And it's not just like the money itself. So you got to do
who in the last 30 years, what top level professional athlete in the last 30 years would you want to actually live their life? Michael Jordan, one of our readers just linked today, Michael Jordan talking a couple months ago about, I probably wouldn't have survived in the NBA and the Twitter world. Like I was someone who my privacy was very important to me and it does not exist for professional athletes anymore. Is there anyone you would trade with in the last couple decades, bro?
I love Bron. He's my favorite athlete of all time. His life scares the shit out of me, bro. What's amazing about Bron is he's found a way to somewhat balance greatness and being a fucking human. He's a dad and he's the fucking best fucking and a husband and the fucking best fucking player in the world, or in my brain ever.
Yeah, like the basketball shit is cool, but Bron being an adjusted, seemingly normal, crazy adult human after having this spotlight on him to be the fucking GOAT since he was 15, like that is a fucking accomplishment, man.
Since he was 15, a couple of years removed from couch surfing with his mom. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he'll always be the GOAT to me for that reason. I mean, like kids get one Division I scholarship offer in high school who are living the way LeBron was and lose their fucking mind. Bro, you know what I mean? This dude has Sports Illustrated call him the chosen one on the fucking cover.
His junior year, right?
And
slam. Yeah,
and hasn't slipped up. Like, you know what I mean? Has been a good person. I don't mean to say hasn't slipped up because I hate when people say that shit. Like he's hiding the, whatever. But like he hasn't fucked anything up. Like he's walked a tightrope since he was 16. And he's brought his friends and his people with him. Like, this shit doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Most of us would be the baby in this situation. A senior in high school with a $50 million check from Nike. Right. What the fuck? Well, I don't even want to know how my life would have shaped out if that shit went down for me, bro.
The chains, I couldn't walk with all the fucking chains if I was that nigga. You know what I mean? We'd be out here fucking that money off and our career off probably too, bro. I mean, was it 16 on the cover of, both of those fucking magazines? That nigga, like.
And to bring it back to Simone Biles, let's remember, like, that's the peak. That is when Olympic gymnasts are designed to be peaking, is in their teenage years. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So Bron is this anomaly in this global sport that shines the spotlight on kids. But that's the expected thing for Olympic gymnasts, is that you're peaking at that like unbelievable age to have that kind of attention on you. So salute to Simone Biles. Obviously, I don't think anyone listening to Jenkins and Jonez is surprised that we support fucking Simone Biles.
Right.
But salute to her. And I hope for her sake, I hope that the rest of the Olympics is whatever she wants and needs it to be. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. USA basketball. Speaking of unrealistic and unfair expectations, maybe, I don't know. The USA basketball team got a really nice get right game with fucking Iran on the schedule. And they definitely did what they needed to do. They beat Iran 120-66. Dame had 21 points. Book had 16 points. Tatum 14. Middleton had 10. Zach LaVine had 13. Everyone got to play. I think they scored exactly 60 in the first half and exactly 60 in the second half. Does this game mean anything, or it's just that some of the competition in the Olympics is going to beat our ass, and some of these teams don't have any NBA dudes?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like, this was the cupcake on the schedule, I guess. So I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens when we get, like, if we match it with Slovenia or some shit. Like, I don't know, it might be scary hours. Let's see. I am not confident in this team to win the gold.
Luka looks like a demon in the Olympics, bro.
What do you have, like who gets a 48 in a fucking Olympic game, nigga? Like
his Olympic debut also. His Olympic debut.
His Olympic debut.
Olympic debut, bro. 48 Olympic debut. Nigga, what are you on, bro? It doesn't matter that much, dog.
Wild.
Like, but this is the thing, these two, like, Savini, what are the chances that they actually win? He dead ass thinks he could bring them to the fucking Olympic gold. He's like, nigga, the world is literally on this planet. He's trying to eat everybody. I love his mentality, but that's crazy. But anyway, with the USA, I don't give a fuck, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You just were rooting for the chaos of them going 0-2 with the loss to Iran.
Probably mention cupcakes. Nigga, 70% of the fuck, there's like 3 countries that are good at basketball. You know what I mean? Maybe 4. You know what I mean? Like, and France wasn't supposed to be one of them, nigga. You know what I mean? So, like, dude, 80% of everybody was a cupcake prior, except for maybe Spain? You know what I mean? Now, like,
right.
Like, what is the population of Iran? You know what I mean? How many people have made it to the league? I mean, I don't care if they, you know what I'm saying, beat Iran. I don't care. I mean, I think it'd have been more fun if they lost. I'm here for fun. I'm not here like, that's all I'm focused on, nigga. I would have loved laughing at the jokes if we got cooked. You know what I mean? Like, that's what also, like, I don't care. Who cares?
I do want to shout out, and I love just turning the TV on for 16 hours a day in the Olympics and letting NBC tell me what to care about all day. But the USA women's basketball team actually played in a good competitive game against Nigeria. They won 81-72. Asia Wilson had 19 and 13. Brittany Griner had 13 and 10. Especially in FIBA, I think the women's games are much more exciting to watch than the men's games, because the women are adjusting to it to the changes much easier than the men are. Like, that whole first game I went back and watched against France, they just, like, could not adjust to the difference in the spacing because the 3-point line's closer, so it's a little more crowded. There's no 3 seconds defensively. So you have every other team except for America just has a mean ass 7-foot fucking strip club bouncer, like, sitting under the rim.
Wishing a nigga would. Wishing a nigga would try it, bro. I can't wait for a nigga to come this way, bro. You know what I mean?
So yeah. Anyway, but
don't the women really get paid overseas? They're used to these rules, you know. And have they not been more dominant than the men? Like, when is the last time the women have lost a game?
The women just last night beating Nigeria won their 50th Olympic game in a row. Yes.
Bro, damn. So we need to be talking about them. Fuck these niggas.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Fuck the men's basketball team. You feel me?
That's why I wanted to bring them up. And on top of that, it was a good game. You know what I mean? Like there was strategy involved. Nigeria ran a press. It was bothering the USA. They figured it out. They went, you know what I mean? Like, it was a good game.
If we're talking about the game, we need to talk about them. I don't want to talk about these USA men no more unless they get beat by 40 by a regular ass squad, bro. Because they ain't shit, dog, okay? We wasting our fucking time following these niggas, all right? It's just basketball. That's the only reason we're following them. Any regular ass, bum ass team like this, we wouldn't even have kept following, bro. Fuck that shit.
You guys can tell me if this is hypocritical to have enjoyed the women's street skateboarding Olympic final as much as I did, given what we were just talking about with the gymnastics, right? But to me, the highlight of the Olympics so far, and it was mostly because I was watching it with Vincent, who has become a skateboarding fanatic over the last 72 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. Entirely because of the Olympics. He read in his Scholastic Weekly Reader that there were kid Olympians who were skateboarders. And so when the Olympics started, he was like, that was his number one thing on his to-do list. I want to see the Olympic kids. Mm-hmm. So in the women's street final, Momiji Nishia from Japan won the gold, and Reisa Leal won the silver from Brazil. They're both 13.
13 and 14, I think. One's 14, right?
I think they're both 13, and maybe, I believe the silver medal, the bronze medalist was 14 or 16. Okay. So like, fucking crazy.
Who's the chick from Vine years ago? Lydia something? The girl who's in the fairy outfit?
No, that was Leah. That was the Brazilian girl that took silver. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the two of them going back and forth. The 13-year-old girl in her home country in the first year that your sport is in the Olympics wins the gold medal. Like, this was the craziest, best shit ever. I will say one of the things I liked about it was, unlike gymnastics, where there have always been these old, really sort of brutal people hovering around as coaches or whatever else, like, these girls look like they were just having fun with their friends, bro.
I think skateboarding is different because, like, if you are that good at skating, you probably had to fight to skate, right? Like, finding places to skate, you know what I mean? People kicking you off with a fucking whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, your parents probably don't get it that much because, like,
they get it now.
First year you're in the Olympics, right? You know what I mean? But I think, like, even with the dudes, like a 15-year-old one, so like, beat Nyjah fucking Houston. Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? But it's cool to see, like, young people, like, and I think what's cool about skateboarding is, like, it doesn't give a fuck about your age. You could be, I mean, it's just the work you put in. You know what I mean? Like, these young ladies are probably on their motherfucking skateboard. I mean, every extra second they, you know what I'm saying? And it got them to the Olympics, to fucking gold. That shit is beautiful, bro. You know what I mean? Like, how's Vinny looking at that shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he was geeked.
Skateboard?
He was geeked.
I feel like especially our generation, we had a skateboard phase, and I feel like the Ninja Turtles were responsible for that shit. Like, the Ninja Turtles had everybody skateboarding if you're our age, bro.
And Bart Simpson.
Yeah,
Bart Simpson. Yeah. I tried skating. Like I got on the skateboard once. No, same thing with rollerblades. I fought my mom for rollerblades. My homies was like bombing fucking big ass hills. And I got on the motherfuckers and jumped right on the fucking hill, tore half my nipple off. The shit still ain't grown back yet. Never touched the rollerblade again, dog. You know what I mean? So I stayed on my bicycle. I was cold at that shit. I was doing jumps with that shit. But yeah, that skateboarding, that the balance is, that's some different shit, bro. You know?
Yeah, skateboarding wasn't as badical as I thought it was going to be based on the cartoons that I grew up on.
You gotta really get used to get busting your ass, nigga. Like, you're busting your ass more than you're landing these tricks. You know,
the girl who won the gold, I think it was, opened her elbow up at the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like, they had to wipe the blood off of her elbow and bandage the shit up. Like,
and she did that because she wanted to. It wasn't no weirdo. Keep going. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think the Tyler mentioned the Vine clip of the Brazilian girl. Like, you don't see viral clips of gymnastics girls in fairy costumes doing gymnastics for fun. You know what I mean? On the street. Right. Like, that's the difference, is like, skateboarding, unfortunately, because it's an Olympic sport, probably will turn into more of a business type of an environment now. But like, at least for this first one, I think Tony Hawk was talking about that. He's like, it's cool that the sport has come so far, but you can see in these kids that it's still like kids having fun. Like, that's what was so cool to me to see at the Olympics. And I was really thinking about it after the Simone Biles stuff too, to be honest with you, that it was just like, it's cool that this is still part of this, even with all the other shit that's going on. Okay.
What's one thing? Have y'all seen Betty's on HBO?
Nah,
It's about women skateboarders, like young lady skateboarders. It's fire. Check that shit out, bro. That's one of my favorite HBO shows. Like I watched that. Like
is it like a drama, like real life? Shit?
No, it's not. It's a drama. It's a drama, and it's just how it's done is super creative. I love the people, the actresses in it. You know what I mean? Like
I gotta watch it in the next 2 weeks, or I'm not gonna think about skateboarding again.
Okay,
for 3 more years, probably.
It's kind of weird. I don't know, right?
You know what I mean?
Not be up your alley, but hey, to the listeners out there, I really fuck with it. That shit is fire. Betty's is fire.
Okay. This is basically last sports thing to talk about today, but Shams had a tweet yesterday, and I want you guys to tell me what this does to your bullshit meter. He says, beginning with the 21-22 season, the NBA will implement new rules to reduce non-basketball moves used to draw fouls. That's going to include overt non-basketball actions such as offensive player launches into defender, abruptly veers off path, kicks leg at abnormal angle, or off-arm hooks defender. Do you believe that this is something the NBA is going to address successfully, or is this we got to sort of wave at this and pretend that we care about it?
I would like to know the definition of the basketball move here, because I think that I'm someone who I'm all for it. You know, if you get a defender in the air, you know, off the pump fake and you jump into him and draw the foul, I think that's totally fine. Basketball's a chess game. Yeah, that's gamesmanship. Basketball's a chess game. You know, you won that matchup right there. You should go to the line for that. But that jumping sideways in the motherfuckers, because that's not a basketball move. No one jumps sideways when they're shooting a jump shot, right? So I would love if that's taken off there and that's not called, or the whole, you know, slamming on the brakes and committing insurance fraud, like Bomani Jones said James Harden does. Right, the swoop and swap.
That's
right? Great. Right? And it's not. Bomani Jones said that James Harden plays basketball like he's committing insurance fraud, which was best. But yeah, so if we're doing away with the insurance fraud, like the great mind Bomani said, I'm all for that. But I don't want to see the pump fake get you in the air. I don't want to see that taken away. I think that still is a legit basketball play.
How do they referee the insurance fraud thing, though? Like, you have to keep moving forward when you're moving forward. Like, that's the part that's difficult. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Like, if he's going to stop in the lane and a defender runs into him and knocks him over, what are they're going to say, play on? I cannot picture that in the 2021-22 NBA. Like, personally, I just can't imagine.
They don't need to do anything to make it harder on these refs. These motherfuckers already be struggling, okay? So if you're taking rules away, cool. You know what I mean? You're adding more shit to put on a plate, nigga. Bro, we're seeing finals referees fuck off games, dog. No, bro. Like, I'm scared of that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how I don't mind how the game's being refereed right now. I don't mind how it's, you know what I mean? like, I think it's fine. I mean, there's people that abuse it, like James Harden, which is who I thought about. It's gonna be rough for you out here, boy. Like when I read the fucking text, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, I think I don't mind how it's refereed. I think it's pretty. It's cool. You know, everybody's playing by the same rules. You know, James Harden is the person that's manipulated the best. He's the best prepared. You know what I'm saying, as far as how he plays for this. You know, how does ref now? But I don't know, bro. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you really feel like the game needs to be changed? Like, we got to get in here and change this. You know, like, I think the referee.
I think they're worried. I think they're worried someone's going to get hurt. And the insurance fraud, which is just fucking, Bo is so fucking great. That's so perfect. Like, I was actually thinking about this the night before they announced the rule change, because we go on a little family walk before the kids' bedtime. And my daughter does this all the time. Maya does this, like, she's trying to draw a foul. She loves running in front of people and then stopping. And like, every time she does it, I'm obviously not an NBA athlete. Every time she does it, I almost blow my ACL because you know what I mean? You're running you're running and someone stops right in front of you and you have to like go like that. Like, that is genuinely how people get like, you know, it's as dangerous as putting your foot near people while they're jumping, in my opinion.
No, have you seen people get really hurt from that move? I mean, it's not like they're running at like they're not running at the speed that cars are driving. It's not, you know what I mean? Like,
right. But what would the NBA rather have? They'd rather have people going all out for chase down blocks, or they'd rather have people drawing that foul. You cannot have both of those things safely. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's been in the game for so long, though. That's not like
you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I think the refs being consistent is what I want. That, you know what I mean? Let's just everybody figure out the rules we have. We don't necessarily need to change them. And that swing through move is odd. I think that
the swing through move is, but Kevin Durant talked about that when someone had asked him a couple of years ago about it because he's so good at that because of his length.
Yeah.
And he said, "What are you going to do? If I get their hand on me and then I shoot the ball, it's a foul." Like,
I'm saying, like, but I mean, but if it's a foul, just and he shoots the ball, he goes to the free throw line.
Right. It does create this weird thing where you have KD on the perimeter. He's holding the ball low, right? Defenders trying to guard Kevin Durant. Good fucking luck. Okay. You're half a foot shorter than him, whatever. You got to keep your hands involved because you have to make him uncomfortable to have a chance. So you got your hands out there. He does the rip through move and shoots. And you have the stupidest looking video clips in the NBA of an elite defender pulling his hands away like he's playing slap wrist or something in elementary. I mean, it's just the weirdest shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I know we don't know what's going to come of these rules, but we know that the refs are going to fuck it up regardless. So I think we can take comfort in that. So either way,
absolutely.
Tyler doing what Tyler does.
Let's talk about the bathing habits of celebrities.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get my screenshots up here so I can read this accurately. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, two very famous and attractive people, have some opinions about bathing and specifically bathing their children that they revealed on the Dax Shepard podcast. They said, Mila Kunis said, "I was not that parent that bathed my newborns ever." And Ashton Kutcher says they now have a system. If you can see the dirt on them, clean them. Otherwise, there's no point. He also says he washes his...
no point. What the fuck?
You know what level you have to be?
Ashton Kutcher also said he washes his armpits and his crotch daily and, quote, nothing else ever, and has a tendency to, quote, throw some water on my face after a workout to get all the salts out.
Get the salts out?
The salt? I did not know. I really thought that was just some soap commercial shit where motherfuckers splash water on their face. I did not know people really out here doing that. What the fuck? Did
you have those kids that had all that dried? There was a few that would have dried ass salt after like playing outside. Did you ever like? There was always a couple kids on the playground that would have dried ass salt on their face.
Oh, you know, I grew up around a couple of those kids. Absolutely.
So I get the salt shit, but man, like, dog, why do we have to talk about? We talk about this probably 2 or 3 times a year, right? Like, this comes up. Why is this so difficult for some people?
Right.
It's not right. Do you know the level of nasty you have to be for me to see the fucking dirt on your skin, nigga? Like, that's beyond filthy, bro. You know what I'm saying? You look like a cartoon character at that point. Humans shouldn't get to the point where, like, they're playing on the playground, you come in, and then you can see the filth on their fucking skin. Don't get it.
Big from Charlie Brown, bro.
Right.
I just don't understand why every fucking like 6 months or so we get these bombshell revelations of how musty motherfuckers are. Like, right. I remember when the whole "don't wash my legs" fiasco first went down on Twitter. Like, that was the start of the fucking must Armageddon, where we just found out that motherfuckers really don't be washing their ass. And then I seen Mila Kunis have that fucking shit where she said, "I just do what? Pits, tits, souls, and hoes." Like, how dedicated to being musty are you if you got a nursery rhyme for your musty habits, bro? Pits, tits, holes, and souls. Like, That's some shit you skip to. You said that to
motherfucker slap right there, nigga.
Hey, that shit goes, man. We get the right beat on that motherfucker.
Get the right beat on that motherfucker. Viral.
Yeah, that's an EDM jam right there. But yeah, you so fucking dedicated to being musty. You making rhymes, bro. What the fuck?
But the thing with that too, are you really saving time?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you hit this and this and your legs and like, bro, that's really just going. You're saving like 45 seconds, nigga. Nigga, hit the legs up, bro. What did they do to you? You know what I mean? What did your legs do to you, my nigga? And hit the stomach. That's the only thing you're missing. Arms, legs, stomach, bro. And that's what, another 2 minutes of your day, nigga. Come on, dog.
The claim is that using soap daily robs your body of oils.
That's what lotion's for. Nigga, what the fuck you thought, nigga? What, nigga? Bro, we got shea butter. We got all the essential oils in this motherfucker. What you talking about?
You have lotion and shea butter. Ashton Kutcher does not have.
Nigga, bro, he might not have never been down the aisle in fucking Target. You know what I mean? He walked that aisle and it'll fucking glow. It'll be a halo around a lotion like this.
We've discussed, and it's our old podcast. We don't need to discuss it again. We've discussed how much my relationship changed my life and perspective on certain things, right? Which is great. White people do not use lotion.
Mike, before you met Shar brought lotion in your life?
Yes.
She built you up from the foundation, did she? Yes. She started at the roots, you feel me? And built you right up, nigga. You know what I mean? Behind every great man, they say it. It's a saying. I didn't make this up, nigga.
She opened my third eye about hygiene. Yes.
Wow. Why you out here using?
Bro, I first realized white people didn't use lotion back in like my high school days and shit when I was hooping and in gym. Like, you know, all the black dudes, you know, we'd hit the showers and it would be like a mad dash. Yo, who got the lotion? Who got the lotion? White dudes just hopping out the shower, getting dressed and dipping. And we're like, yo, what the fuck?
You missed a step.
It's really a cultural divide. Yeah, it's really a cultural divide. And it's crazy how the only time in like lotion commercials you just see like alligators and white women. It's like, bro, alligators and white women don't use lotion. So this is like false advertising. What the fuck are these lotion commercials doing, bro? They don't know their demographic, man.
They're selling to the alligators. The other thing I think is funny about that is it is a cultural divide. And it is also acknowledged among, I feel like, all Americans that black people age better than white people. So, you know what I mean? I do feel like we have an answer.
That might be a correlation.
That could, hey, man, you might have just did something.
Like Ashton Kutcher's telling Tyler's baby face about oils? You know what I mean? I don't know. The replies to these stories, I feel like always do like go big. First of all, because it's an easy, funny joke every time. But second, like Trill was going crazy. It was like a millionaire house. It just smells like armpits. Like unbelievable.
I think that would happen more than you think, though.
But the replies to it, I feel like, are always part of what generates it, because there are always a ton of people in the replies like, well, yes, obviously they don't bathe their children. Like,
yes, we never bathed either. Did you see that motherfucker said we only were bathed Saturday night because we had church on Sunday? Saturday night baths.
Like, not even the not bathing, bro. The only time you prepared for something was church.
Like, replace bathing with any other part of like normal hygiene. Like, the only time I wore underwear was on Sunday.
Like, this is that. And
Sunday was socks day in the household. Like,
bro, at least you like that type of shit. You should have the wherewithal to at least hide. He put it on the internet where it doesn't go. Nigga, like,
he put it on like the number one like that Dak Shepard podcast is like one of the top podcasts out there, and they were like proudly talking about it. And so the reply that killed me was someone was like, yes, my husband, and obviously she was, but she was like, yes, my husband never bathed, and like in all caps, he doesn't smell. And everyone was just like,
That's
you know
uncomfortable.
how
To you, nigga. He coming this motherfucker. We gonna say he clowning, motherfucker. All right? He don't smell to you because you smell. Perspective, nigga. You know what I mean? From my perspective, that motherfucker probably musty as shit, dog. Bro, like I don't. It's weird how confidently, like with the leg shit, like people are genuinely surprised that people bathe daily. Like, nigga, what? Nigga, if it's summertime, I might get that bitch twice, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
People are in Trill's mentions saying, well, we can't all acknowledge that gravity does bring the soapy water down to the legs. I mean, like,
fucking trickle down hygiene. That's
the
what we're
only
doing
time science has not fucking made sense, bro. You know what I mean? Anti-science in that situation when it comes to that, bro. Because there's probably a whole bunch of other science saying you need to wash your motherfucking ass, dog. You know what I mean? Wash your legs. That shit's crazy, bro. Crazy shit.
Okay, we promised the people a new segment. I'm very excited to debut the new segment. It's called Tenable versus Untenable.
Jackson, turn the camera on. Turn the fucking camera on, Jackson. Turn the camera on, Jackson. Tenable versus untenable. How you feeling? How you feeling, Jackson? How you feeling about this?
I was not consulted about my likeness nor language being used as a segment for the show. You will be getting a call from my lawyers.
We were going to comp you a title sponsorship on the segment, Jackson.
I'm
but
back. I'm back. Wow.
So Jackson a couple shows ago described something as being untenable, and it's a word that's been stuck in all three of our heads since then. So in this new segment, I'm going to ask John and Tyler a question, and then I'm going to name some things, and they're going to tell me whether these things are tenable or untenable.
Thank you, Jackson. We appreciate you.
Jackson. Thank you for your service.
So happy to help.
Content King Jackson.
All right. Yeah. Obviously, everyone could tell that I've been watching and thinking about the Olympics. So what I am going to describe, I'm asking you guys, which of these sports, if you today were to begin training and living the life of someone who's an Olympic athlete in these sports, what would be tenable and what would be untenable?
Okay.
Are we ready?
Okay.
So like, what could you do, or what
this
is like,
great.
It's untenable?
Okay.
Race walking.
Oh, tenable. Hell yeah.
Tenable. Oh,
that's why I look at race walker, speed walkers. I'm like, bro, why am I not out there? I think I could do this. That is probably the only Olympic sport I think I can do, bro.
And I think there's some like form things that like, there's a lot of thought to going into how you walk.
Yeah, there's
like
a certain hip swivel that they all have.
And the way they knees bend.
They walk sassy as fuck.
That knee be bending backwards, you know what I mean? That knee be kneeing both ways, you know what I mean? Y'all pay attention to that shit. That shit, I fuck with it. Tenable.
Fencing.
I think I could. Tenable. I think I could be I don't being an Olympic level, whatever, is so fucking difficult. But just for the sake of this, I'll say tenable.
I'll say tenable. I think the commentary is untenable. That motherfucking shit is dry as fuck. Yeah. But it's fun to watch. And I follow this dude Fencer, which is very uncreative.
Pardon me?
His name is Spencer. He's a fencing champion on Instagram. He's fun follow. Check him out. But yeah, I fuck with fencing.
Trampoline.
Oh, what the fuck? You asking 8-year-old me to? You asking me to just be 8-year-old me again, bro? 8-year-old me was really good at being 8-year-old me. That shit's definitely tenable. Yeah.
Nigga, tenable, nigga. Goddamn, motherfucker. I was doing backflips off that shit, bro. Hell yeah. In my neighborhood, I was that nigga on the trampoline. You know what I'm saying? Facts.
Table tennis.
Oh,
tenable. Yeah.
Tenable. Nigga, what? Bro, nigga, hey. Next time I go to we got to play table tennis, bro. I'm cold at that.
Have you
shit,
watched
bro.
the Olympic table tennis?
Okay, nigga, come on, bro. We talking about like.
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about could you play table tennis with me. We're talking about.
I mean, I love table tennis. Okay, I mean, we have you looked at the motherfuckers?
They're crazy.
Yeah,
untenable.
I think I've got to recant my tenable and go untenable on that one because I cannot be one of those. Motherfuckers. No,
bro, they're doing that from like 15 feet behind the table too. Like it's crazy. So I just wanted to say tennis because I love table tennis. But yeah, you're right, Mike. That no.
I feel like table tennis and badminton are the sports in the Olympics where you're like, yeah, I played those sports. And then when you watch them doing it, you're like, what the? This does not even look like
No.
the
Badminton,
sport.
no.
Like,
Badminton, no. I think if I would have really went hard, I could have been that nigga. Man, I was nigga. Hey, I'm sorry, bro.
John was one abusive sports parent away from being an Olympian in like 30 sports.
In Knoxville, Tennessee, in middle school, bro. Me and Justin Barker, they put us to the left side. You know what I mean? They wouldn't let us play with nobody else because we was destroying people's self-esteem in fucking badminton. I'm not playing, dog. So I don't know. I think I might be. And I went 2-on-1 in college. You know what I mean? And then cooking folks. So
what would be the single most untenable sport? Would it be swimming, John?
Gymnastics. Oh,
gymnastics?
Because I can't swim. You call me a statistic right in front of everybody. You put my blackness on display.
No.
I'm playing.
I forgot you couldn't swim.
This nigga called me a stat. Would it be swimming? Black man.
The segment's getting canceled after one episode.
Yeah, fuck this segment. I forgot you couldn't swim, bro.
It's funny. But it'd be gymnastics, bro. I don't have the mentality, the wherewithal, the athleticism. I ain't got shit to be a gymnast at all, bro.
Gymnastics or powerlifting. Either one of them, no fucking way in hell.
The powerlifting shit is scary. I can't watch that. I get too, like, every time they get into it, I'm very confident their body's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
John,
how close are you watching the knees? How closely are you watching the knees? Powerlifting.
Woo. I couldn't do it. The reason I brought up swimming was because Katie Ledecky won the first ever 1,500 meter swim.
Mm-hmm.
I swim knowing that it was the first year that event was in. I swam a 1,500 last week, and I was only 40 minutes slower.
God damn.
than Katie Ledecky was. But swimming is, I would say, maybe the worst like life to have of all of the people in the Olympics, because the mileage that they put in is insane.
Yeah.
And one of the Olympic swimmers that we know that we've covered, who's from Long Beach, told me, so for all of them, for anyone who does any kind of distance, it's like you just start the day by swimming for 2 hours. And now they have headphones you can listen to in the water, but for most of the time, you're just staring at the black line. You can't talk to anyone. You can't, and what they used to do to fuck with each other was, before they would jump in the pool, someone would hum something really catchy to try and get it stuck in someone's head for 2 hours. So they would you know what I mean? They'd do like a Christmas carol in July or something, and then see if they could fuck your whole 2 hour warm up. Like,
I remember
that's crazy.
I remember swimmers, like when I thought of like the athletes that were like athletes in like high school and college, like swimmers had it worse to me mentally, because like you have to wake up at like 5 a.m. in like high school. I remember them like waking up dumb early in high school to get.
That's why I quit. That's why I quit the swim team.
Right,
you had to be at Poly at 6 o'clock in the morning, and my mom was not feasible in our family.
But a gymnast
was untenable. The high school swim team was untenable.
Right, exactly. But a gymnast, you don't know them because they don't go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to be on that level, you know what I mean? So either way, bro, it's all bad.
All right, that was tenable versus untenable. Thank you, Jackson, for your contribution to the podcast.
This is a long-ass podcast. Are we done?
We're done. We're going to talk about crows, but I think we're going to save it for Monday. We will be back on Monday. Thank you so much for listening to the Jenkins and Jonez show. John, I'm very sorry about this.
Nigga, shut up, man. I don't give a fuck. I know you didn't mean shit. And if you did, it was funny.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna hear as soon as we get off. I'm gonna tell you I meant it. All right, y'all. We'll be back on Monday. Thanks for fucking with us. Check out there's a new show on the Volume. Check that out, and we'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.